there's been a lot of talk about what the Sharks can do come September, but it probably showed, Freddie, their experience in finals over the last few years. They've experienced the hurt, they've experienced the disappointment, and they were able to hold on when it mattered last night. Yeah,
they had this real attitude, the Sharks. Every interview that you heard or the players speak was all about no one gives us a chance and, you know, we're just making the numbers up and all this. And they had this real us against them mentality. Braden Trindle was the difference, really. They only got a couple of opportunities, the Sharks, and he pretty much made most of them count. And their defence, their try-line defence. At one stage, Roosters had 60% of the ball just about, and they were just giving up very little points. They were very measly with the way they were defending, so I've got to say their defence was fantastic.
Yeah, I thought Braden Trindle was the class. He was the cream on top of the cake, but they built that cake through effort and determination and resilience. Like, the start of the second half, the way that the Roosters came out, the intensity that they played with, and there were long periods of ball in play in that second half, and the Sharks just held them out, kept getting to their kick. And then when the class needed to shine, Braden Trindle, he stood up. But I think that they were really comfortable in that grind, and that would impress Coach Craig Fitzgibbon, and you know, they'd take a lot of confidence out of that.
There was like 3 times I saw it where they actually kicked from their own 20 in a row. And what they did do, they brought on Adam Fanua-Blake and Britton Nickera at the same time. They made a double change, and that seemed to turn everything around back in their favour, I thought.
Yeah, well, that was the exact point I was going to make. I thought the second stint of Adam Fanua-Blake was really dominant. Nickera coming off the bench was really powerful, and he brought a lot of punch that they just needed to have that little bit of step to continue to go further. But I also have to say, Sione Katoa on that wing there, that was a genuine mismatch in height. And twice he diffused 2 kicks that would have been a try for Daniel Tupou all year. And he just was so comfortable. And it was his positioning leading up to it. And Billy, you've been a fullback, the best fullback in the game. The positioning before you leap, that's the most important part. And I just feel like he nailed it.
And your attitude towards the football, that's the other key thing. He was so aggressive up into that football. He knew he was outmatched in terms of being in the air, but he knew he just had to go up and do his job for his team. Freddie, when Sione Katoa took that ball in the end goal...
The energy
of the crowd.
A lot's been said about how many people were there, but let me tell you...
From you as well. It was all driven by you.
I was tucked up in and they were all behind me, and when he took that kick, it just come alive. Like, everyone just stood and cheered. It was an amazing moment. Then, to the point where the second one, he miskicked it, I reckon.
Yeah,
he actually...
too deep.
Tubes didn't get a chance to compete for it, so... The other part about the kicking game was I thought Teddy on the fullback.
Yeah, Will Kennedy.
Like, Will Kennedy came up with 3 or 4 cracking takes. So
I love the personalities in our game. Like, Ronaldo Mulitalo is one of the best personalities in our game, and he knew who he was up against. He was up against Mark Nwangani-Tawazi, and they went head-to-head. Ronaldo even said going off at half-time, OK, well, 2-1, let's go, let's get it on. Marky got the first one. That was the first try, and he got clear, and then Ronaldo, he strike here, 1-1 there, and he gets another try. Beautiful pass by Trindle. He goes into half-time, he's like, righto, 2-1 man, let's get it on.
But there was even a moment when he was attacking down that southeastern corner, and Mark Nwangani-Tawazi, that one, it pushes him out. And you see him, he gets up and he's like, all right, we're on.
You got that one.
And I love that. I think Craig Fitzgibbon also spoke about, Ronaldo said to him, oh, look, I've said something in the media this week, so I'm sorry, but I'll back it up. And I love that. But I love that.
He took it personally because he said, everyone's always obsessed with the new toy. And he said, mate, I've been in the aerial game for a long time. So that's what he said on the Journeyman podcast.
How good.
Yeah.
How good. And he backed it up. He backed it up. And what a battle.
Speaking of backing it up, Toby Rudolph, he's always a bit lippy in the media, but what... match-winning try this was from the front rower. It was his first all year, and he was soaking it up with his beautiful mum Susan post-match. What a character he is, really.
He's definitely a character, but I also really love this fact, and it comes off Blake Brayley as well, identified that Teddy was in the line, and he just sent Rudolph straight at him. And this was a play that he came up with just a few rounds ago, a try-saving play. So, yeah, he's got great character, but he backs it up with his ability on the field. And again, Craig Fitzgibbon spoke about the impact that he's had on this team when he hasn't been there. Sometimes, the impact cannot be felt, but they really missed him. And when he got back there and brought that energy, it just lifts them to another level.
He could be playing for an Australian jersey.
You'd pick him?
Well...
in the squad?
I think it all depends how deep they go into the semi-finals, but if you have a look at the one position where we're going to really struggle, the Australian team, is in the front row. A lot of the players going back playing for Samoa, Tonga, Cook Islands, whoever they want to play for. So he really puts his hand up to actually be. He's a front rower. A lot of the other front rowers are, you know, if you're looking at Carrigan and Lindsay Smith, they're more locked forward. So Lindsay Collins is most likely the real standout as a front rower.
As a straight up front
rower. He could be, and like, you know, what he brings off the field and what he brings to the team, he could be the perfect solution.
You can see his popularity, how popular he is within the group, the way that they handled that, and that's the first try of his career, his season. So, yeah, they loved it.
I reckon he would have enjoyed being in the nude. I feel like he's
yeah.
someone that would have actually enjoyed being in the nude.
Yeah.
Do you get that feeling that he was?
I don't want to. You can comment on that, not me. But I'll tell you what, I'd want to go on tour with Toby Rudolph. Judging from that performance, it'd be pretty hard to write the Panthers off.
Well, the Panthers still have a pulse. They are dangerous. They are dangerous. I can't believe that ball bounced. I can't believe you can kick the ball like that and it hit
from inside your own 20.
Yeah, they were. Look, it was awful conditions over in New Zealand. It was really windy. It was wet, and it just suited the Panthers. You know, they weren't at their best, but they were good enough to progress through this semi-final. I thought the kicking game of Nathan Cleary was outstanding. He kicked early, close to the line, and gained repeat sets, and then he ran the ball on fifth tackle. This was the fifth tackle play, and also closer to the line, he ran the ball on the last to set up the first try. Isaiah Papali'i was great coming off the bench. Luke Garner was great coming off the bench. They had an even contribution. Big call for Alamotti to come back into the side. He repaid his coach, Ivan Cleary. Well, they've got a pulse. They're dangerous, Freddie.
Yeah, they were good. I think the game was in 12-8. I think the score was, like with 20 minutes to go. So there was a game. Nathan Cleary also had a dropout where he just put some fade on it. His kicking game was incredible. A couple of early kicks as well. And after the game, he got interviewed. He said, yeah, the conditions really suited his mindset from a point of view. He understood slippery conditions. And maybe I didn't get that from Tanner Boyd, that sort of experience with their kicking game. But I'd say Leka Halasima, wow, like he's unbelievable. Leka, what he's done, and I think he gives them a bit of hope. They just lacked a bit of spark. They just never looked like they were going to really score the Warriors. I just never felt like Penrith were in danger. And they make sure they need to look at that. You can't just rely on a fast halfback. They need to find some other angles. I know they lost to front row, Barnett as well, but they need to be more dangerous.
I think the value of the bench for the Panthers can't be understated. When they came on, they really added, and that's what you want in a bench. And I think it's really important, especially coming into finals, that you have that spark coming off the bench because everyone's tired. There's tired legs. You've got to bring something different. You've got to be able to change the speed and the pace of the game. And I think that's what really happened. Papali'i, Billy spoke about him. I thought he was fantastic, and it's probably the best game I've seen him play for the Panthers. And what a time to do it in a final as well. They give themselves a really great opportunity, and you know some people might say they were opportunist tries, but you've got to put yourself in a position to take advantage of that, right? Yeah,
absolutely. If the Panthers are going to win the comp, they're going to need their number 9, Mitch Kenny. He's the heartbeat of their middle forwards. I love the way his line speed, he creates that line speed, he's tough, he gets the ball to the right spots. I don't know how serious his hamstring injury is. They keep their cards pretty close to their chest, the Panthers. But if they can get Mitch Kenny back, they'll take their game from here to here.
What did you make of the try, Schneider's try?
Yeah, I thought it was a try. There was a question mark around the double movement. I think the fact that his momentum got him over the line anyway. There was definitely another movement, but I think it's a try.
There was a little moment, so for so long, James Fisher-Harris and Moses Leota were, I guess you could say, the Bash brothers for the Panthers, and it was a big call for Fish going back home to New Zealand. There was a little moment where they came together, which showed that, you know, even though we're mates, when we're on opposite sides and we've got different jerseys on, that is out the window.
Push and shove. I think it was Moses Leota driven. It wasn't Fish. And then they went, hang on. You can tell those two wouldn't take a backward step. And, you know, that was early in the match. And I think that was probably on purpose from those two individuals to say, hey, look, we're here with our team. We don't care about friendships and we're going after it. So, you know, it's probably a little bit of a message to their own team more than anything. Yeah,
they just got each other's backs. Wouldn't be standing in the middle of it, though. It would have been a stare-off. I mean, we saw the Leota angle. I think the Fisher-Harris angle probably would have been just as scary.
Well, thank God they can't fight. That would have been awful.
Who would you back if they could?
Out of them two?
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to be for another week. They'd just keep fighting.
No one would take a knee, that's for sure.
HIA, just come back. It'd be all grade 2 HIAs. Just come back, let's keep going.
There was another controversial moment, you could say, where Dallin Watene-Zelezniak appeared to tackle, it was Casey McLean without the ball. So this is it here. And there was no penalty. Thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it was pretty close. It was close. It's a really tough job to come in as wing, especially when you can't see because he's coming from behind. He does make contact before he gets the ball.
I think it's just the right hand on the shoulder was there before he actually
I was calling this one. The concern for me was there was no conversation about it.
Yeah.
So the bunker referee was going over the vision, and he wasn't even talking about the fact that the right hand of Watene-Zelezniak was...
They went on to something else, didn't they, straight away?
Yeah, so there wasn't even a...
It wasn't even
they didn't
cleared the
pick it up.
contact. They didn't even say it cleared the contact.
I thought there was a forward pass in that try as well to McLean in the lead up to it. But at the end of the day, it all evens itself out. It doesn't change the result. I still think the Panthers were the best team on the day, and they deserve to progress further in this final series.
Yep, so Panthers and Doggies next week. Looking forward to that one.
Look, the Bulldogs were dealt a cruel hand. Obviously lost their both centres, one of them being their captain, Stephen Crichton, in the 19th minute. Viliami kick-out goes off with a HIA. This is Crichton's injury here. Just his leg buckles underneath him. And he's got a syndesmosis injury. You see his left ankle there. That's awkward. And he fought hard. He played on for a good 4 or 5 minutes after that. He tried to keep playing. He couldn't run. He succumbed to the injury, and they tried to play patch up, but they just weren't quite good enough to get the points in the end.
With all the challenges, they got to the front.
Yeah.
So they got to the front with 15 minutes to go. And it was Harry Grant who ended up coming up with a great play. Him and Tyrone Wishart, their bench worked fantastic, the Melbourne Storm. And Bonwill Warbrick, he didn't have a great start of the game either. Come up with a couple of errors, and when you watch him actually attack that last ball, that was no hesitation. It was a great try. Like, he could have sat back and really put his team under pressure, but he attacked the situation. Dogs, there wasn't much to the tries, I didn't think. It was such a gritty game. It was such a tough game. There was so much in the contact. The tries sort of really come out of nothing. Burton, I thought, played better when he went to the centres, ran more, his big body. I don't know why he's not kicking to be more positive. He, even at the death of the game when they needed a result, he just kept cage kicking. He just kept kicking into the corner relentlessly. It was like, mate, the last 15 minutes they needed something, and he's got a weapon and he just refused to use it. I don't know if it's under instructions or just refused to have a crack and put their back three under a little bit more pressure.
I've got to say, Toby Sexton, coming off the bench, not been there for a long time, his performance when he came on, I actually found that really inspiring. First touch try.
Second touch.
Oh, sorry, second. There you go.
He threw the pass.
I thought it was first as well. But I thought he was fantastic. And then you spoke about this, Freddie, about Burton going to centre. Sexton comes into that lineup. He added real spark to their attack. He squared them up a lot, as we're seeing straight through here. He's got that ability, and to do that after being out for so long is a real positive, I think, not just for the team, but for him personally.
Drastic situation, drastic circumstances require drastic decisions. I would change the whole lot. I'd honestly change the whole lot. Look at the Broncos. A month ago, they were gone. Injuries down in Melbourne, gone. They've turned their season around. I'd put Reid Marnie back in at number 9, Bailey Haywood at number 14. He's the utility. Bring him on as a small forward through the middle of the field when players get tired. I think that's his best position. Toby Sexton's the halfback. Galvin's the 5'8". Matt Burton goes into the centres. I think drastic changes here can actually rejuvenate this. They've won 2 games in the last 7 games, the Bulldogs, and one of them was against a 16-man rested Panthers. I'd change the lot, and you might just spark something. Toby Sexton can play nice and straight. He's a genuine halfback. I think it'd free him up.
He's a likeable character as well. And
what about the other halfback, Jonah Peasant? He did a great job in the replacement of Jerome Hughes. Made a try-saving tackle on Matt Burton early in the game. He kicked super, laid on this try to Ali Katoa. He did a marvellous job coming in at starting number 7 for the first time this year.
It was composed
This was the tackle here. What's this tackle here? That's a try saver on a big man. He's hard to pull down that close to the line, Burton. kicked well, 40-20. Yeah, he had a fantastic game.
Nothing seems to faze Jonah Pezzett for a young kid, but you'd imagine if Jerome Hughes has a say in it, he'll be doing absolutely everything possible to get out there, surely, in that prelim. I mean, I know it's a fracture.
Know about Jerome Hughes. I wouldn't have a clue what's going on there. Like, you know, from all indications, he's got a fracture in his arm, so there'll be a process of, you know, can he handle the pain? Can his arm handle contacts?
I think he made a phone call. He called Mel Meninga, not to go to the Bears, but just to see if he's still got that.
The big guy.
That big Mel Meninga.
I've still got some broken ribs, actually, where Mel used to stick it into my chest like that, just with his elbow forward. A little bit of steel he used to have in it. It's really legal.
I think he's a chance. I don't know how much of a chance he is, what percentage, but yeah, originally it was season over for Jerome Hughes, but I think there's a glimmer of hope. There's a light there.
And Munster's ankle after that contact?
I think he's okay, given the fact that he's got a 2-week recovery into the preliminary final. Be hard to keep Cameron Munster out of this one, I think.
Lots to look forward to over the next few weeks. But